Hey there, sleepy friend Moon. Before we curl up together, tell me, what time is it right now? The time you're going to sleep. Say it out loud or whisper it to yourself. Good. Let your shoulders drop as you say it. This is your time to rest. Get cozy. Tuck your blanket just right. Feel your pillow hold your head. Breathe in slowly through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Hold for a tiny pause. Breathe out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4 again. In, soft and gentle. Out, softer and longer. There you go. You're safe here. You're warm. The day can put itself away. Tonight's bedtime story is called The Rainy Night Fairy and the Bookstore of Whispered Pages. Once, on the edge of a wide river, stood a little bookstore with a striped awning and a bell that rang like a tiny silver laugh. The shop's windows were full of soft golden light. The shelves held old stories, new stories, and secret stories that only opened when you were calm enough to listen. Outside, rain fell in patient lines, steady as a lullaby. It tapped on the windows, it kissed the ground, and it made the stone path shine. Down the hill, the moon rose, round and kind. Its light slid across the water like spilled milk. A fairy, painted a gentle cream, drifted toward the town dock. It had 3 decks, a round little smokestack, and a string of warm bulbs that looked like stars pulled close. The bookshop owner was an older woman named Nona Plume. She had soft gray hair tucked in a bun, a sweater with elbow patches, and eyes that smiled before her mouth did. Nona loved 2 things: rainy nights and stories that helped people sleep. She said rain was the sound of the sky tidying up. She said stories were blankets for your thoughts. Every night, when the fairy came, Nona would set a small lamp in the window, the one with the blue shade. The lamp's glow was a signal for travelers who were tired or heavy with thoughts or simply ready to drift. The glow meant there is a story waiting for you, a gentle one. Come in. Tonight, someone new would arrive, someone who needed a bedtime story unlike any other. The traveler. On the ferry stood a traveler with a satchel and a coat that smelled like fresh paper. Their name was Rowan. Rowan didn't know they were looking for a story. They thought they were looking for a place to stay the night. Maybe a cup of tea, maybe a friendly hello. But sometimes we look for one thing and find another, the exact thing we truly need. The engine hummed in a sleepy purr. The rain made tiny rings on the water. Rowan watched the town lights grow larger as the ferry neared. They saw the lamp with the blue shade. They felt a tug inside, soft and sure, like a tide. When the ferry touched the dock, the deckhand lowered the ramp with a squeak that sounded like a yawn. Rowan stepped off. The air smelled like wet stone and cinnamon, though Rowan couldn't see where the cinnamon came from. Perhaps it was simply the scent of comfort. Rowan followed the stone path up the hill, past the old lamp post, past the cat sleeping beneath it, past the puddle that held a perfect reflection of the moon. The bookstore bell rang as they pushed the door. Welcome, Nona Plume said. You're right on time. On time for what? Rowan asked, smiling even though they felt a little shy. For a bedtime story, Nona said. I can hear your thoughts. They're wide awake and pacing. Come in. Put your things down. Would you like a warm drink? We have moon milk, cinnamon steam, sleepy cocoa, and hushed honey tea. Rowan chose hushed honey tea. It came in a wide cup with a handle big enough for both hands. The steam smelled like summer meadows and the edge of a nap. Long day? Nona asked. Long month, Rowan said, and the words felt true as soon as they left. Nona nodded as if she already knew. She pointed to a small corner of the shop. There was a window seat with soft cushions, a quilt folded like a secret, and a view of the river and the moonlit ferry. Rain raced down the glass in clear streams. Sit, Nona said. Breathe with the rain. When you're ready, I'll tell the story. It will be yours to keep. Sometimes the right story is like a key. It turns, and a door inside you opens, and behind that door is a quiet room. Rowan sat. The cushions sighed under their weight. They sipped tea. They watched the rain and the river and the fairy light reflecting like a path. It felt as if the world was moving in slow, smooth circles. Their shoulders softened, their jaw unclenched, their breath loosened and grew round. I'm ready, Rowan whispered. Good, Nona said. She dimmed the lamps until the shop was lit like a sunset that decided to wait. She chose a book from a high shelf. Its cover was deep blue with silver letters that read, The Mapmaker of Drowsy Shores. Nona sat across from Rowan. The bell on the door gave a small chime, as if even it wanted to listen. The cat from the lamp post slid inside and curled near the radiator, paws tucked like a loaf of bread. The rain drew its soft lines. The fairy horn, far off, let out a low hush, like a giant telling the night to rest. Nona opened the book. The pages smelled like rain on chalk and warm wood, and then she began. The Mapmaker of Drowsy Shores. In a town that only woke at dusk, there lived a mapmaker named Finn. Finn made maps for places most people didn't know existed. The yawning marsh, where every breeze carried a lullaby. The pillow dunes, where soft white sand held the shape of your dreams. And drowsy shores, a stretch of coast where the waves spoke in slow syllables and the gulls cried like quiet flutes. Finn had a problem, though. Every time he drew a map of a sleepy place, he got so relaxed that he fell asleep at his desk. This wasn't terrible, but it made the work slow. Orders stacked up. People wrote letters. Dear Finn, please send a map to the dozy orchard where the apples hum. I keep getting lost between naps. Or, Dear Finn, the dandelion meadow keeps drifting. I need a map that can float. One evening, Finn decided to take a field trip. He packed a small bag, a pencil that never needed sharpening, a notebook with soft pages, a tin of almonds, and a blanket that smelled like something he couldn't name. Maybe safety, maybe home. He locked his shop and stepped into the blue hour when the sky is the color of calm and everything holds still for a moment. Finn walked to the edge of town where the river widened and the ferry waited. The ferry's captain was an old friend, a quiet man named Mender. He wore a cap pulled low and had a voice like a warm coat. Evening, Finn, Mender said. Heading to drowsy shores? Yes, Finn said. I need to learn the true shape of rest. Then you've come on the right night, Mender said. The moon is full, and the rain is kind. As the ferry glided across the water, Finn leaned on the rail. Raindrops landed on his sleeve and made tiny stars. He listened to the engine purr. He watched mist rise from the surface and fold into the night. The lights along the deck wobbled in the ripples. Finn felt a soft tug behind his ribs, the kind of tug that says, "You're moving towards something you've needed all along." Mender pointed ahead. The shores came into view. Low hills, dark trees, small cottages with window glow. The beach shone a pale silver, as if the moon had smoothed it with its hand. The rain did not pound. It brushed. The ferry touched the dock. Finn stepped onto the planks, which creaked like sleepy boards in a quiet house. A sign hung from the lamp post. Drowsy shores. Please speak in inside voices. Below that, in smaller letters, Yawns welcome. Finn walked along the path to a cottage with a round door. A light burned in the window. From inside came the smell of toasted oats and sea wind. Finn knocked, and the door opened nearly at once. You must be Finn, said a woman with silver braids and eyes that had learned the shape of tides. I'm Ada, the keeper of Slow. Come in, take off your shoes. Leave your hurry outside with the rain. Finn stepped inside. The floor felt warm. There was a kettle singing softly on the stove. A clock on the wall ticked in the rhythm of a resting heart. Ada handed Finn a mug. Oat tea, she said. It tastes like morning without the noise. I make maps, Finn said, but I keep falling asleep before I finish. I think the shores can teach me something. They can, Ada said. They teach in waves. First, watch, then listen, then wait, then, when your shoulders forget they are shoulders, look again. That's when you'll see the true lines. Finn nodded. He sipped the tea. It was light and calm. I'll show you the places, Ada said. But we walk softly. We move like we are clouds. Ready? Ready? Finn said, though the word felt like a yawn. The beach that breathes. Ada led Finn to the beach. The sand here wasn't rough. It was like flour warmed by the sun and then cooled by the moon. When the waves reached the shore, they sighed in and out like a sleeping creature. Finn breathed with them. In, as the wave came. Out, as it left. In, out. His ribs loosened. The space inside him grew wider. Draw what you feel first, Ada said. Then draw what you see. Finn drew a wide curve, the breadth of the beach. Then he drew the line of the shore, a gentle arc. He drew small dots for shells that looked like closed eyes. He drew the way the rain stitched the air with slanted threads. Good, Ada said. Now listen. Finn closed his eyes. The waves spoke slowly, as if their language moved through water. They said, rest is not a door you force. Rest is a tide. It knows when to come in. It knows when to go out. Your only job is to float. Finn opened his eyes and wrote the words at the bottom of the map. float. The orchard that hums. Next, they walked to an orchard. The trees were short and round, their leaves dark and shiny. Apples hung like lanterns. The orchard hummed, a low, even tone, like a long note on a cello. That's the bees in their sleep, Ada said. They dream in soft music. Finn drew the orchard. He drew the paths, curving like commas, the apples in clusters, the hum as a ribbon, moving across the page. He tasted an apple. It was not sharp. It was sweet and slow, like a song you hum to yourself when you don't need words. He wrote at the edge of the map, move like a comma, not a period. The dune pillows. After that, they reached the dunes, the sand piled in smooth hills, as if someone had poured cream and let it rest. Tall grasses swayed with the rain, and small white flowers blinked open and shut, like sleepy eyes. Finn climbed one dune and lay down. It held him. He felt the grain of the sand shift around him, finding the shape of his back. This is the shape of being held, he thought. He drew a map of the dunes in soft curves, leaving blank spaces where the wind might rewrite the lines. In those spaces, he drew tiny stars to show that emptiness can also shine. He wrote, leave room for the wind, the lighthouse that whispers. Finally, at the far tip of the shore, they came to a small lighthouse. It was not tall. It didn't need to shine far. This light was for close things, rocks, boats, hearts. The door was open. Inside, a spiral staircase curled like a shell. At the top, a lantern glowed, and its warm circle turned slow as a yawn. The lighthouse keeper, a soft-spoken person named Ray, waved them in. Storm? Ray asked. No, Ada said. Rain with good manners. I like that, Ray said. I keep a book of good phrases. That one can go in. Ray poured them tea. Coast people like tea that tastes like weather, and set out a plate of crumbly biscuits. What brings you, mapmaker? Ray asked. I want to draw the shape of rest, Finn said. Then stand by the light, Ray said, and watch it turn. Each time it passes your face, let a thought go, one per turn. It will come around again, and you can let another go. The light makes a path. Thoughts can follow that path out to sea. There, they become smaller than the smallest boat. Finn stood. The light turned. He felt its warmth, then its absence, then its warmth again. First turn, a worry about unfinished work. Gone. Second turn, a worry about what others think. Gone. Third turn, a worry about time. Gone. By the fifth turn, he could hear the rain's own breath. By the seventh, the lighthouse seemed to hum, in tune with his chest. He drew a circle on his map to mark the light's path and wrote, one turn at a time. When they left the lighthouse, the world felt even softer. The rain had settled into a quiet pattern. The moon drifted higher, then tucked itself behind a friendly cloud. You've learned what you needed, Ada said. You can map the shores now. But remember, maps are only guides. The real place is in your breath. Thank you, Finn said. He meant it with his whole rested heart. They walked back to the dock, and the fairy waited like a patient dog, wagging a tail made of lantern light. Mender tipped his cap. Back so soon? I found the lines I needed, Finn said. Good. Mender said, hold on to them gently. The tight fist cannot carry water. Finn smiled. He knew he would write that on the map too. The fairy glided home. Finn leaned on the rail again, and this time his thoughts did not pace. They sat like quiet friends, hands around warm cups, listening to the engine purr and the rain whisper the same soft story to the river and the sky. Back in the bookstore. Nona closed the book. The room was very quiet. Even the cat seemed to purr softer, as if not to break the soft shape of the air. Rowan blinked slowly, like someone waking from a good dream, or someone about to float into one. That, Nona said, is the end. It doesn't feel like an end, Rowan murmured. It feels like a door that stays open. Ah, Nona said. Then it worked. Rowan took a slow breath. They felt different, but only a little. Not sharp, not sudden. More like when a knot unties itself because you've stopped tugging. What happens next? Rowan asked. Next, Nona said, you'll take the last ferry to the little inn on Willow Street. You'll fall asleep to the rain, and when your mind wants to pace, you'll remember the mapmaker's lessons. Rowan nodded. Float, they said. Move like a comma. Leave room for the wind. One turn at a time. A tight fist cannot carry water. Exactly, Nona said. You may forget one or two, and that's fine. The river remembers for you. Rowan stood and stretched. It felt like the stretch at the end of a day that has been fair and kind. They placed a few coins on the counter, and Nona slid them back. Stories pay themselves, she said. But take this. She slipped a small card into Rowan's hand. In silver letters it said, Bedtime Map, Personal Edition. 1. Breathe with the rain. In, out. 2. Imagine the beach that breathes. Third drop, one thought each turn of the light. 4. Leave room for the wind. 5. Float. Keep it near your pillow, Nona said. If you wake in the night, read it slowly. By the time you reach float, you might already be drifting. Thank you, Rowan said. The words were simple. They were enough. The bell chimed as they left. The rain greeted them with cool kisses. The lamp-post hummed. The cat blinked and let them scratch its head. The ferry waited below, lights warm as honey, engine low and calm. The ferry ride home, the part where you, listener, drift. As Rowan boarded the ferry, this story turns to you. Yes, you, with your pillow and your cozy blanket, and the soft weight of night on your eyes. The ferry has room for you too. Listen, the engine purrs, steady and low. The deck lights sway, left, right, left, right, like a cradle rocking across water. Find your breath again, in through your nose. 1, 2, 3. Out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each breath is a wave. Each wave knows where to go. There is nothing to push. There is nothing to fix. You step onto the deck beside Rowan. The wood is smooth. The rain taps a rhythm, a soft drum on the roof. The river smells like clean night. The town lights behind grow small. The inn lights ahead grow gentle and closer. You can see a window with a yellow glow. That window is ready for you. Mender, the captain, nods. Good evening, he says. The water is calm and the moon is kind. His voice is a blanket. You tuck it around your shoulders. Lean on the rail. Look at the water. It moves, and yet it rests. When the light from the deck lands on the surface, it breaks into tiny coins, and then those coins gather again, whole. Your day's thoughts can do the same. They can break into small, harmless pieces. Then they can gather at the shore of morning, where you'll pick up only what you need. Rowan stands one step away, smiling into the rain. You don't need to speak. Sometimes the best talk is shared quiet. The ferry horn lets out a low, far sound that feels like a giant yawn. Let your jaw loosen. Let your neck soften. Let your cheeks fall smooth. The horn's long note moves through your chest. It asks your heart to slow. Your heart is willing. It knows how. The ferry passes a tiny island. On it stands the small lighthouse you heard about. Its light turns. With each turn, let go of one small thought. First turn, the most recent worry. Thank it and let it float away. Second turn, something unfinished that can rest until tomorrow. It drifts like a leaf. Third turn, a memory that keeps knocking. You tell it, you can sleep here. I'll see you in the morning. Fourth turn, a list of things to do. You fold the list into a paper boat and set it on the water. The light turns again, and the boat slides away, easy and sure. If a thought returns, that's fine. You are gentle. You let it climb aboard the next paper boat. Mender slows the ferry. The wake curls behind you like a soft tail. Rain makes tiny crowns on each ripple. The sound of the engine blends with the rain. The world becomes one big hush. It reminds you of being small and being carried. It reminds you that you are still allowed to be carried sometimes. Tonight is a carrying night. You pass the beach that breathes. Even from the deck, you can hear the long sigh of waves. Listen and match them. In, out, in, out. Your breath finds the slow rhythm without trying. Your eyelids find the same rhythm. They are heavy but kind. They are doors that close without a click.
The River of Quiet Dreams. Take a slow breath in and let it out. Again. In and out. This is your time to rest now. Let your body grow heavy against the bed. Your blanket is soft, your pillow holds you just right, and the day is finished. Whatever happened before this moment, you can let it float away. Nothing else is needed now. Just you, your breath, and a story to guide you gently towards sleep. Tonight's story is called The River of Quiet Dreams. The Village by the River. Long ago, tucked deep in a wide valley, there was a small village built beside a winding river. The river was calm, never rushing, always flowing with steady, patient ease. The villagers said it was a magical river. At night, when the moon shone on its surface, they swore the water carried dreams downstream. like paper boats lit with lanterns. The houses in the village were simple. Wooden beams, sloped roofs, small windows with shutters. At night, smoke curled softly from chimneys and the scent of burning pine drifted into the air. Everyone in the village knew that if you sat by the river at night and listened closely, you could hear whispers in the ripples. The whispers were not frightening. They were soft and steady, like the voice of a friend telling you, "Rest. You are safe." The Wanderer. One evening, a traveler named Ellen arrived at the village. She had walked many days across hills and meadows, her feet sore, her cloak damp from spring rains. She carried little with her, only a small satchel and a walking stick, carved with faded patterns. When she reached the village, she felt something unusual. The air seemed softer here, the way silence feels, just before sleep. The villagers welcomed her kindly, offering bread, cheese, and a place by the fire. But what she noticed most was the river. It glowed silver under the rising moon, and even from a distance, Ellen could hear it murmuring. Something inside her chest eased, like a knot being untied. That night, she couldn't help but walk down to the riverbank. She sat on a smooth stone and listened. The water moved slowly, carrying its quiet secrets. She leaned forward, closed her eyes, and for the first time in weeks, she felt truly calm. The boat. As she sat, she noticed something odd. A small wooden boat drifted by, glowing faintly with a lantern tied to its bow. It was no bigger than a toy, yet it sailed smoothly down the current as if guided by an invisible hand. Ellen reached into the water and touched it. The boat didn't sink or break apart. Instead, she felt warmth spread through her fingertips, traveling up her arm and into her chest. She took a long breath and, for the first time in months, her shoulders relaxed fully. The villagers had told her, "The river carries dreams." Now she believed it. She closed her eyes again, listening to the water, and when she opened them, she found herself somewhere else. The dream journey. The river was wider now, stretching into silver mist. Her small wooden boat had become large enough for her to sit inside. Cushions lined the seats, and a soft blanket rested across her lap. The lantern at the bow glowed steadily, lighting a calm path ahead. The current pulled her gently forward, never rushing, never jolting. Just smooth, steady movement. The air was cool, smelling faintly of pine and rain. Above, the stars were bright, scattered across the sky like tiny candles. She leaned back and let herself drift. The boat rocked softly, side to side, as if humming a lullaby. On either side of the river, the mist thinned to reveal glimpses of dreamlike places. To her left, she saw a meadow glowing under moonlight, every blade of grass tipped with silver dew. Fireflies floated lazily, their light blinking in slow, drowsy rhythm. To her right, she saw a quiet forest. The trees swayed gently, their leaves whispering secrets to each other. In the branches, owls perched with half-closed eyes, not hunting, just resting, watching the river drift by. The boat continued forward. With each moment, Ellen's breath grew slower, her thoughts lighter. The village of stars. After some time, though time felt soft and stretched here, the boat carried her toward a village unlike any she had seen. The houses weren't made of wood or stone. They were made of starlight. Their roofs shimmered like constellations. Their windows glowed like lanterns hung in the sky. The people here moved slowly, smiling gently. They carried no burdens, spoke no loud words. Some sat by the river's edge, releasing more glowing boats into the water. Each boat held a single word written on parchment. Peace, rest, hope, dream. Ellen drifted through the village, her boat silent, her blanket warm. She waved at the people and they waved back, though no one spoke. There was no need for words here. Everything already felt understood. The endless flow. The river carried her beyond the village, deeper into mist. The water itself seemed to sing now. A low, steady hum that matched her heartbeat. The sound was like breathing, in and out. In and out. She realized the river wasn't carrying her away. It was carrying her deeper inside herself. Each ripple, each glow of lantern light was guiding her closer to rest. Her eyelids grew heavy, and she let them close. She could still feel the boat rocking. She could still hear the water song. But thoughts no longer rushed. They slowed, softened, and finally faded. The return. When she opened her eyes again, she was back on the stone by the real riverbank. The little wooden boat had drifted out of sight. The lanterns of the village glowed behind her. And yet, she felt as if she had truly traveled somewhere. Somewhere safe, quiet, and endless. She pulled her cloak tighter around her shoulders and lay back on the grass, listening to the river until sleep took her fully. And from that night onward, Ellen knew. Whenever she needed peace, all she had to do was return to the river of quiet dreams. Ending. Now, as you lie here, you too can drift down that same river. Imagine the boat beneath you, rocking softly. Imagine the lantern lighting your way. The water hums, steady and kind, carrying you deeper into calm. Your breath is slow, your body is warm and safe. There's nothing left to do. Just float, and let the river carry you into sleep. Good night.